I just want to take this opportunity to thank the many supporters across New Zealand for what has been a challenging but really outstanding year for World Vision. I've just got back from spending the last 2 and 3 weeks in Cambodia and Myanmar. And for me, if there's one story that captures what 2012 was about, it's the story of a 14-year-old boy. One night in Phnom Penh, we went out to see some street work that World Vision is doing. And we turned up in the World Vision van. And I fully expected that what we would see is World Vision staff doing their work. In fact, what happened is a 14-year-old boy wearing a World Vision t-shirt got out with a couple of halogen lights, and suddenly in this very dark street materialised about 50 young children. They were street kids, of the street, in the street. And he sat down, and for the next hour and a half he had them completely enthralled as he told a story about living with HIV/AIDS, as he talked about sanitation, as he talked about housing, as he talked about the importance of education. And he spoke with such extraordinary passion that on this really hot night at about 10:30 at night in Phnom Penh, the sweat was pouring off his face as he pleaded and implored with these young people to actually come off the street and go and actually stay at a drop-in centre that World Vision had established in Cambodia. What I didn't realise until the end of the story was that he himself had been a street kid, and 2 years earlier, as a consequence of a similar visit from World Vision, he had decided to make the very brave step of leaving the street community to go and actually live and be educated and live in the drop-in centre established by World Vision. And as I watched him as the chief executive of a large organisation here in New Zealand, it was just such a huge privilege, and I wanted to say, he's a colleague. He wears the World Vision t-shirt. He's one of us. And so as I reflect back on the year, what I reflect back on is the thousands of staff who, in very difficult environments, often very challenging environments, ranging from places such as Afghanistan and Pakistan, through to Haiti, through to Cambodia, day after day, in many cases night after night, are doing fantastic work, walking alongside communities, sharing with them something of what the hope of a life full of promises like, to be educated, to be housed, to have opportunities to know employment, and above all, to have hope. And so for me, the year has crystallised in that young 14-year-old boy who was on the street, and probably is on the same street tonight, talking to a similar group of 50 young street kids about opportunities and giving them hope. I want to take the opportunity in the same breath to thank New Zealand, because it's only possible through the many tens of thousands of supporters, but in many ways give very sacrificially to actually enable this kind of work to happen day in, day out. So to all of you who have, through a very difficult financial crisis, have said we will continue to support World Vision and the work that it does, my heartfelt thanks. For those of you who, for whatever reason, have found this year's just been too tough to continue your sponsorship of children or the 40-hour famine or however you've chosen to be involved, again, thank you for journeying with us thus far, and we hope not to lose you. Let me finish just by talking a little bit about next year. We've signed off a whole new strategy, and if the strategy was to be summarised in one sentence, it is simply this, that, you know what, it's no longer about World Vision. What it is about is a generation of New Zealanders with a World Vision. In other words, what we're looking to do is touch every New Zealander with a sense of a world bigger than themselves and the possibilities and the opportunities that they have in whatever way they wish to engage with that world. So we want New Zealand to be known not just as a fantastic place to live, but as an unbelievably generous nation with a world vision. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that by getting grassroots, by reconnecting with volunteers, by reconnecting with interns, by giving opportunities for people to work with World Vision in all sorts of different ways. We're going to do it by finding those people in society who make change, working alongside them to enable them to be effective, be it in the church context, the youth context, the government context, or indeed the business context. And in terms of looking at our own, how we do our business, we're absolutely determined to get our operating costs lower. We've already got some of the best operating costs as a percentage of overall costs of any NGO in New Zealand, but we're determined to do better. So the coming year is about a leaner, more agile, more nimble organisation, enabled thus to get more money to people like the young 14-year-old boy in Phnom Penh, who day after day, night after night, goes out there to encourage and give hope to street kids. On that note, I hope you have a fantastic year. Many thanks.